lab studies the infant gut microbiome. Infant, you know, gut, you also know. Microbiome is the collection of all microorganisms living inside us. Basically, in other words, we study poop. We take lots of poop samples of infants and of mothers, we'll get to that in a second, and we look at which bacteria and viruses and fungi are found in our poop, and that basically represents what we have in our gut. The reason this is super interesting is because we have trillions of microorganisms living inside us, and most of them are in our gut, and they play all kinds of important roles. From synthesizing vitamins that we can't synthesize, from breaking down nutrients that we, the host in that term, do not know how to utilize, but also they're really important in training our immune system to kind of tell apart between self and non-self. And the reason we're really interested in the gut microbiome of infants is that delivery mode is the variable that is most influential of the gut bacteria in our first few months of life. So for example, if you give me a dirty diaper of a 6-month-old child, I can tell you with 80% accuracy whether he or she were born by vaginal delivery or by C-section, which is astonishing to me, right? Why is there a memory of which kind of delivery mode occurred that actually is saved in our gut bacteria? But the reason that is because delivery is the first time that the fetus or the newborn, the neonate, is being introduced to all these different bacteria. And so depending on how they exit the mother's body, that's how they get inoculated with their first set of bacteria. And later on, whether they're breastfed or not breastfed impacts their gut bacteria as well, because one of the most abundant components in breast milk is called human milk oligosaccharides, or HMOs, and these are basically long sugars. And these long sugars cannot be digested by the infants at all. And so you wonder, why is the mother putting so much energy into generating these HMOs in the milk? And what we found, we as the scientific community already 100 years ago or so, is that the mother is basically feeding the infant gut bacteria, right? So there are some components in the milk that are not for the baby, but for the bacteria inside the baby's gut. And so already you see how delivery mode and different kinds of feedings impact the composition, the kind of members that are in the gut microbiome of the infants. And then you want to ask yourself, well, how is that impacting the baby's health? And so we have questions that we study in the lab that kind of answer each one of these trajectories. We have a lot of human cohorts that we enroll in Hadassah Hospital, in Shaare Zedek Hospital, also in Soroka in the Negev, and we collect samples from the mothers and from the infants, and we try and understand how are the babies first colonized with bacteria? Where are these bacteria coming from? I didn't mention, of course, when all of us think about bacteria, we always think of bad bacteria, right? Pathogenic bacteria, those that are causing disease. But here we're really talking about all the beneficial bacteria that are there in our gut for a reason. And especially at early age, they play an important role in educating the immune system, as we said before. So for example, we know from epidemiological studies that kids that were born by C-section have a higher chance of developing autoimmune diseases later in life. Now, we don't really understand why. And one of the immediate suspects is whether the fact that their microbiome is different in early life is impacting the immune system, which in turn impacts their autoimmune diseases. Now, we don't know this link, but this is what we're trying to investigate. So we have infant cohorts of kids who have allergy, like infancy allergy, not the ones of like peanut and so on, but like milk protein allergies, and we try to see whether their gut microbes are different. We have cohorts that we have kids that have inflammatory bowel diseases, or IBD, namely Crohn's and colitis, and we're trying to see how their gut bacteria is different and how is that changed through their disease and severity of their disease and so on. And so we're trying to connect all the dots of like from delivery and the mother through breastfeeding and development to impacting the human health or the pediatric health. And I think the strength of our lab, other than to study really interesting topics, of course, is that we really have an array of students from different disciplines. And so when we tackle a question, we tackle it from multiple different angles, and together, hopefully, they complement each other. And that's what provides the final product.